Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 to 13 reads, "Not that I speak in regard to need, for I have learned, in whatever state I am, to be content. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." The passage essentially says to endure, regardless of your circumstance. This life does not promise long-term health and wealth, but it does promise long-term peace. In fact, it's very much encouraged to live the life of a servant. That way you humble yourself. And it's not about being successful. It's about building character. It's not that health and success are inherently bad things. It's just that if that's our main focus in the long term, then we're truly missing out on some wonderfully beautiful things. Things that discipline our character to do better. This is why Matthew chapter 10, verse 39, says, "Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." Whoever finds their life, i.e., focusing on riches and successes and dark desires, in the long term, it's going to do them harm. Whether it be critiques or the downgrading through greed, people who pursue things like riches and dark desires, they're going to lose their lives over these things. However, one views it the other way around. Sorry, let me repeat that. If one could switch this scenario around, then whoever loses their life chasing after successes and riches and dark desires will find a better life. Ideally, if you lose the life chasing after riches and materialistic gain, then you'll find a life where you'll be at peace, regardless of your circumstance. You'll be more accepting of your surroundings. You'll be counting your blessings. For example, you, watching this, might not be living in a rich house, but at least, and I assume, that you have a shelter, you have food, drink, loved ones. Can't wish for anything more than that. Or maybe you're very poor and you're living out in the streets, in which case you should be thankful for all the support you can get. Debatedly more love and support than you'd usually get if you were living in the middle-class life. Be at peace with your surroundings and be a servant to God. The reason I mentioned this is because I was helping out my dad in a cathedral service today, and my dad during the sermon was mentioning something similar to this, namely to critique what is called the prosperity gospel. And my dad was reading from the real gospel to debunk this prosperity gospel, and I was standing there next to him and I was admittedly laughing to myself. Because let me tell you guys, the prosperity gospel is just a bunch of phony garbage. What is the prosperity gospel? It's this whitewashed, Americanized, watered down propaganda desperately trying to appeal to the masses to make some money. Lots and lots of money. I mean, raising money would be fine if they were donating to charities. But no, they're donating to themselves. The phony preachers are like, insert Bible verse here, and if you phone contact us now and give us the money, you shall be blessed. Or, if you speak out your desires, you'll get it. Money cometh to me. I didn't make up that last phrase there. Come here, money. Oh, what's a good money? I've heard that these preachers of the prosperity gospel exalt themselves to such a degree they view poor people as demons. And they basically say, donate to me now, and I'll get that jet plane. Jet planes. Jet planes. This is just one of those things I find really sad, yet really funny at the same time. Because the prosperity gospel is just not biblical. The real gospel spoke of trials that would benefit our character, not riches that would spoil our character. Have these prosperity preachers not considered reading the book of Job, where Job has all his riches taken away, to test if Job still loved God even if he didn't have the riches? To which Job passed the test because material things are limited Yet real love is eternal. Hey, prosperity teachers, come here. Maybe I'll give you 20p if you can give a sermon on the book of Job to contradict your entire prosperity gospel. These prosperity preachers are appealing to desperate feelings rather than appealing to the mind. And this can easily be seen in Joel Osteen's interviews and Kenneth Copeland's behavior. There was this one time where Joel Osteen was being interviewed by the late and great Larry King. You can look that up on YouTube for yourself. And Larry King, of all people, who is known to be fairly wibbly-wobbly with his religious views, sits down and asks Joel Osteen some serious theological questions. Basic questions that any preacher with their right mind would answer very simply and straight to the point. Larry King essentially asked, if you profess to believe in this one thing, that means by default all the other beliefs are wrong, right? If one belief is true, all other beliefs are by definition false. Joel responded, oh, well, I don't know. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Come on, this is Philosophical Theology 101. And Joel fails at that, yet America looks up to him as a sufficient preacher? Have you ever heard of Ben Shapiro? If he was in that interview, you know what he would have said? He would have said, facts don't care about your feelings. Because the facts state, if you believe in one thing, that means by definition, all the other beliefs are wrong. And you have to defend your beliefs to see if they hold up much water. And I'm not the type of person to demean anybody, but Joel, you're a wuss! I was looking at the interview, and I just thought, oh, come on, Joel, man up! Oh, but it gets crazier. There's this one prosperity preacher. Fellow believers, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And now a voice impression showcase of Kenneth Copeland, just to showcase how outrageous he is. Not because I hate him, it's just to showcase how far he goes. Money! Coming to me now! Money! Coming to me now! He is outrageously heretical, taking the Bible completely out of context to exalt himself more than God. Sound! COVID-19 away! I shall summon a strong south wind! COVID-19! You're gone! Oh, that jet plane was so cheap I just had to buy it. And don't you dare question where I get my riches from, young lady. I'll tell you how crazy this guy gets. There's this one occasion where this prosperity preacher, if my memory serves correct, where he and an assistant cut their blood, like cut their hands or something like that to spill their blood, and put it in their communion drink. Mix their blood into the communion drink. Mixing his blood with the wine, and then taking scripture out of context by boasting that he has God's blood in his body. I am not making this up, I'm afraid. It's in there. It's in my body. I mean, the real gospel is meant to humble you towards Christ, not put you on a pedestal. I mean, this guy's clearly a troublesome narcissist. I heard he even owns his own airport. An airport. Just laugh your problems away. Ha 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 ha. Now I'm just imagining Kenneth Copeland quoting The Killing Joke or something. And the worst part about all this is people somehow fall for this. Look at this golf course that I own. If you're willing to donate to me, we can play a few games. Somehow, in spite of showcasing just how flawed their sense of theology is, people still donate to people like him. I say, look at this here golf course that I own. I purchased it with my millionaire money, and I can't be bothered giving to charity. So, if you don't mind me, if you donate to me, we can play a few games. And listen, if you guys know me, you know I'm a patient man. I'm the type of person who doesn't resort to ad hominem insults to anybody. You need to understand that whenever I critique, I do it out of love and fairness. I want the best for everybody, and I want people to come to the real gospel. And part of following the real gospel is to expose false gospels. The prosperity gospel is a false gospel. If you're in that false gospel, get out while you still can. And also, regardless of what you believe in, spread the word that the prosperity gospel is garbage.